Good morning, Dr. Laquore. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. And for people watching us, could you just please tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and how long you've been trading?
Good morning. Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm delighted to be here. So a little bit about me. My name is Dr. Laquore Meadows, and I serve as the CEO and co-founder of InvestorGive. And I specialize in helping people to make money leveraging the stock market in days and not decades. So my whole purpose is helping people to understand how to trade on the stock market, specifically trading stocks and options. And now actually it's a great time to have this conversation
Oh,
because the market is volatile. So this is a golden time for traders.
definitely. So, how
Yeah.
long have you been doing this, and what got you into trading in the first place?
Yeah, so I've been trading since 2017. And what got me into this space was I used to work for a major university, very, very large institution. And at the time, I was preparing to go on a fellowship. I actually had a chance to connect with a donor who I helped to cultivate a $5.3 million gift from.
Wow.
And yeah, and so over time, I had a chance to get to know her. I was very interested in being like, listen, like you gave us $5.3 million. Like, how much money you got? But the better question is, how did you make it, right?
Yeah.
And so I learned from that is that she was very, very, very much invested in the stock market and traded in the stock market as well. And so I was like, oh my God, say less. Like, I need to figure this thing out. And so that's what truly got me started because I too want to be able to give back and to build and leave a legacy
Right.
that will someday be the answer to someone's prayers.
Okay.
hmm
So, from that point on, did you learn from that donor, or how did you go about learning how to trade and how to become profitable?
Yeah, so I hired help. Like one thing, let me say this. First, I started out with reading books. I also went to on my YouTube journey. I also started just trading on my own. And then I was like, listen, I love this. I started making like little bits of money here and there, but I was like, I really want to get serious about this thing. So I decided to hire coaches and have had about probably a good 5 coaches now that have helped me along the way. And so yeah, that's how I got started learning.
Yeah, I mean, my journey is pretty much similar. Started
Mhm.
off with YouTube, and then I had to find a mentor that I've learned from, and I've only had one mentor so far. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because once I found something that I was very interested in, which was penny stocks and small caps,
Yeah.
I can want to dedicate 100% of my time trying to master this. But my learning curve has been very difficult because it took me about 5 years
Okay.
to actually turn the corner. And I don't know about you, how long did it take you to become profitable?
Yeah, so it took me, I would say, to be more consistently profitable. Now, I will say there's days I still end in red, right? It's just a part of the market, right?
Mhm.
But to be consistently profitable, it took me about 2 years. It
Okay.
took me a good 6 months to really feel like I had my feet underneath me, but to be consistently about 2 years.
Okay.
And a big part of that was really understanding myself and
Mhm.
understanding how I respond under pressure and getting the discipline and the patience to
Yes.
do what I need to do.
So
hmm
did you start with real money, like off the bat, or did you start with a demo account and train with a simulator for you to figure out all these things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually started with the practice account. So I was using a sim. And one thing I did do, however, I hopped into real money way too soon. I should have waited, right? I was like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing, child. So I wasn't ready, but it's okay. But yeah, I started in sim. And that was a great decision. It's actually something I encourage everybody to do because you got to learn yourself, right? You have to understand also how the cadence of companies move or ETFs or index funds, whatever it is you're trading. Everything has a different cadence to it. So understanding how that works is really important.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, and also it gives you the opportunity to start making mistakes early on.
Yeah.
When I got started, I wasn't smart enough to go with the demo account. I had
Mm.
1,800 in my bank account. I was like, you know what? I watched those two videos on YouTube. I know I can do it. And then I
Yep.
threw my $1,800 into the trading account. The next thing you know, within 7 days, it was gone.
It was gone. Yep.
And
Yep.
I had to learn
Yep.
the hard way. And then going into the demo account, gave me the opportunity to make the mistakes, but most importantly, to understand how the market actually operates. The only downside about that was I didn't have the emotion connection
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't real money, but I've learned a lot from the demo.
Yeah.
So when you did transition from the demo account to real money,
Mm-hmm.
how did you go about it mentally? And what made like how did you know you had to make the decision to switch to real money?
I did it way too soon, to be honest. It was more of I'm ready to make money right now, like today. Okay, I took a couple classes. That's cute. All right, good. That's good. I want to make some money, right?
Mhm.
So I was in the mindset of fast tracking my way to success in the market, and I think that that's pretty common for a lot of folks, right? We learn about trading. We're like, yo, this is a thing. Okay, let me figure this out and let me go ahead and get to work right away, right? It's so important. To spend time really understanding technical analysis
Right.
first,
Mhm.
right? Before you do that. So I started way too soon. So I can't really say I had a comprehensive or solid thought process behind it. I was just like, I want to make money now. And that was my thoughts. Yeah.
Okay. And
Mhm.
what was that? So actually, or even in your journey, what was your biggest challenge?
That's a great question. So my biggest challenge was risk management because I would be hopeful, right? That if it was going against me, that thing was going to turn around, right? But I learned that hope will have you broke, all right? So I had to make sure that I was managing my risk accordingly and making sure that if I saw a thing, then act on it, right? When you see that big red engulfing candlestick come up, listen, it might not be time to hang out waiting on to see what it's going to do, right? So it's important to, really hold in on that risk management. And that's what I had to learn.
Okay. And what was the biggest loss you've ever had in one day?
Yeah, so biggest loss in a day was $7,000.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
And
yes.
how
I've
do you
had
lose it?
what'd you say?
How do you lose it?
You
What
said
what
how
yeah, what made you lose 7,000?
not managing my risk, and it was more about and then also I would say the other thing was not really understanding how to get out of a trade in a way that I needed to, right? One of my favorite trading strategies is trading options, right? And so I love trading something called a strategy called vertical credit spreads. Well, listen, if you trade on a Friday and you trade the S&P, that's probably not the best idea to do, right? And I
Mhm.
had to learn that the hard way. So the challenge with that loss was I did not understand how to get out of the trade. And I was also hopeful, right, with the fact that, okay, it's not going to reach my strike. And that is not what happened at all. So, lost a
Okay. I
decent.
always tell
Yeah.
my friends and everybody that I hang out with in the trading community, mostly online, like hope isn't a strategy.
Nope.
So for me, like in the past, I was making the same mistake where I would be getting into a trade. I didn't know what was my risk, how much I was actually risking, and how much was my target. And what was
Mm-hmm.
happening was I could be in the green for maybe a few cents because I trade mainly stocks. And every trade that I was taking at that time, I was thinking it's going to be a home run. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of me just taking my small profit and then repeat the process, I'll be waiting too long and then my trade will turn into a red. And now I'll be frustrated. Instead of cutting my loss, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
not hoping for a reversal.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen all the time. And the
Yeah.
next thing you know, my profit to loss ratio was like inverted. I was losing more than I was actually making until I understood that stats. Now I was like, okay, I will never go broke being green. Even if it's a couple $100, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going green, I'm getting out. I will never go broke being green. And
Mm-hmm.
ever since I did that, even if it's like $70, I'll take the profit and do it again.
Absolutely. 100%. I think that's very wise. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if it's $1, listen, that's something.
Right.
That's $1 more than what we had, right? So, yeah.
So for somebody that's getting started, let's say somebody's watching this episode and they have no trading background, they don't know anything about the stock market and they want to get started.
Mhm.
What are the proper steps for them to take and how do you recommend them going about those steps?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing first is to figure out what is your goal? What do you want to accomplish? right? So I always ask my students to think, all right, if we were to come back and have a conversation 12 months from now,
Mhm.
what would you want to say? Listen, I killed this, right? I did this thing. So understanding what the goal is, I think, is the first step, because once we understand the goal, then we can align a trading strategy to help us to get there. All
Correct.
right. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing is then to start educating yourself, because there's so many ways to get to the bag in the market. It is like ridiculous. You can trade stocks. You can be bullish. You can be bearish. Make money in both ways. You can trade options, right? And there are a million ways to trade options, right? Different types of strategy. So figuring out, all right, one, understanding the market and how the market works, right? But then two, the next step would be really trying to figure out, okay, what strategy can I learn and master? I think is a really important next step. After that, I would say opening up a brokerage account that has or while doing that, you don't have to wait, but open up a brokerage account that has a simulator is really important, because all the time people ask me, okay, how much money do I need to get started? I always say start with zero. And
Right.
the reason why I say that is because practice, right, while you're building your account. And you can do that with a broker that has a simulator. So doing that, start executing and practicing some of the things that you've been learning. And then once you start seeing yourself being consistently profitable, I like to say at least 6 out of 10 trades closing green. And even if that green means $2, that's fine, right? That means that you've gained some muscle
Mhm.
and you can, continue to repeat that process.
Correct.
So that would be what I would say to get started. Now, I always encourage people to, if you want a shortcut to success in this space, is hire a coach as well. I believe in coaches. I believe in paying good money to good people who understand what they're doing, right? So that I can learn how to get there. So hiring a coach, I think, is a really important part too, along
Yeah,
the process.
yeah, that's actually really important because the mistake many people make, they will go online, they will see all these fake gurus showing things like these luxury cars, and everybody think now it's a get rich quick. I'm gonna just go on the market and I'm gonna be making money.
Mhm.
That's very a dumb thing to do. Taking
Yeah.
those steps is very important, but most importantly, as you said, going into a sim, for me, that was a game changer because
Hmm.
sim gave me the opportunity to not only build that muscle memory, but also journal my trade and learning about my metrics. Once I had my start in front of me, I knew exactly, okay, where I was losing money, where I was making money, what day I was actually making the most money. So now
Hmm.
what I had to actually focus on, and that was very important. And in your experience, do you think trading is more mental, technical, or a combination of both? And
Mental
why?
all day, right? So I think understanding technical analysis is the easy part, right? A third grader can learn how to read a stock chart. I could teach a third grader. Actually, I have taught a third grader how to trade on the stock market. You can do that.
Right.
But once you have that skill, it's now a process where it's your charts in the market. So you have to understand like how to control your mental components of this, because it's very easy if you know what you're doing to make a lot of money in the market. But then greed can come in, right? So I remember my first day I was like $14,000. I was sitting there like, oh, I want to get to 15. I want to get to 15. Girl, take your
What?
profits. Like, what are you doing? So that greed can step in. And then when a trader's going against you, you're down 500,000, $2,000, what have you. It's like, oh my gosh, I really hope that this is gonna come back. We praying, we doing all the things, right, to try to like blow on the try to push it up, right? It's like it's like you're doing all the things, but that thing is still tanking. So you have to be able to know when to let go,
Correct.
right? So it's very much a mental sport, and it takes time to master that. It
Uh-huh.
does. It really does. So, in my opinion, trading is way more mental and than it is and emotional than
Correct.
it is technical.
Yeah. For
Hmm.
me, grade was I was talking to my friend. I met him through a chat room back in 2019, and we've
Hmm.
been trading together ever since. And
Okay.
I was talking to him a few months back, and I told him, you know what? why it took me so long, I reviewed my start over the last few years and I figured every single time I took a loss, every single time I was red in a day, I started by being green. And sometimes I was getting by a couple thousand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, as you said, I'll be up like 2,500. I'm like, okay, well, what if I can get 3,000? And then the
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you lose 400 bucks. Now you're like, okay, I'm gonna just get my 2,500 back, then I'm done. Next thing you know, now you only have 1,200. Now you're frustrated. Now you start revenge trading, and
Mm-hmm.
now you are in the red. So now what I did implement was, whenever I am in the green, if I lose 25% of my game, I'm shutting everything down. Like
Okay.
if I'm up 1,000 and I take a trade and I lose 250, I'm
Mm-hmm.
shutting everything down. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how the market is. I don't care how good the market is. I'm leaving. Or if I take three trades in a row and every single time it's red, I'm also leaving. I'm shutting everything down. But
Mm-hmm.
what prevents me from having big losses now is if I take a trade I'm red, my next trade I'm cutting my short size by half. If
Mm-hmm.
it's also red, I'm cutting the next one by half. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's three in a row, I'm done. So
That's good.
discipline is really a big thing for me. And every morning I have a plan and I follow my discipline. Green or
Mm-hmm.
red, I'm walking away with my goal. So how
Mm-hmm.
is discipline important to you and how do you implement discipline every single day? Because it's very hard in the market.
Yeah, yeah. So what I love about what you just said was you have a plan, right? And so many traders, especially those that are just getting started, don't understand the importance of having a step-by-step strategy and rules
Right.
around what it is that you're going to do when you're faced with a certain situation in the market. So I have to first and foremost applaud you for that because you're way ahead of a lot of traders that just don't understand the importance of having discipline the way that you do. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank
That's
you. I
good.
do have I do have sticky notes that I have on my desk. Depending on like if I'm frustrated today, I'm not gonna have a sticky note writing exactly what got me mad, what got me emotionally triggered. So the next
Mm-hmm.
morning I know exactly, okay, I'm not gonna basically avoid that. And sometimes I will even give myself what I call a trading rehab. I'll put myself into trading rehab. So it
Okay.
could be either I'm taking my share size, maybe to like half, I mean, or a quarter or whatever, or even taking myself completely off the market for like a week or a month. Last
Mm-hmm.
year, I had my biggest loss ever. Lost 42,000 in a week.
Wow. Okay. What happened?
That was on me. Um, we were buying this house, right? Moving into a new house, and I was like, you know what? This month the market is hot. I'm gonna make 100,000, and once we move into the
Mm-hmm.
house, everything gonna be perfect. So instead of me just going with my plan every single morning, I started to increase my share size without actually reading that the market was getting colder.
Okay.
So volume was actually declining because
Mm-hmm.
for me to make money with my strategy, I'm a scalper. So I need volume to be there. I need the stock to be moving so fast and like I want to get in and out so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that day, I was trading GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
I got in with
Mm-hmm.
8,000 shares or 10,000 shares to start with.
Okay.
And that thing sparked up about 20 cents. I was up almost 2 grand.
Okay.
So instead of me just taking my 2 grand and adjust my position and go back in, I added into my position.
Okay.
And that thing dropped 50 cents. Dropped
Oh.
50 cents. And instead of me cutting a loss, I did
Mm-hmm.
average down. And my number one rule now is I don't ever add into a losing position. I only
Okay.
add when I'm spiking up.
Oh, swing. Yeah. Good.
So I added into my position. Now I was heavy, 17,000 shares, no volume. And how do you get out of that position without volume?
Oh my goodness.
So that thing started to dip down. So I mark it out. And when you mark it out with no volume, you have that slippage.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
had slippage, and then the first day I lost 25 grand, and my account was below PDT now. I'm like, oh dang it! So I had to call the bank, wire some money, get my account above PDT,
Yeah.
and I had to wait about 3 days for my account to be reactivated to trade. So June 3rd came back, and now I wanted to revenge trade. Now I wanted to get my 25,000. And that day I traded LMFAO. Same thing happened. No volume, went in super heavy, lost $1 share on
Mm-hmm.
15 to 7 or 16,000 share. And I lost 16 to 17,000. So in about 2 days of trading, I was down 42 grand.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
went, yeah, I went to the gym. that morning, I was numb and every weight I was touching was heavy.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
was just
mhm.
sitting there in the gym and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was the moment I wanted to quit.
Mhm,
And then I called my friend, the one I talked to you about, and he sent me a video of Timothy Sykes. And that video, it was talking about how he lost half a million in
mhm,
one day and
mhm,
what caused the loss and also how did he recover from that. So watch that video, I was like, okay, if I go back on the market the next day, I'll just do something stupid. Let me
mhm.
just stay away from the market for now. So I
Yeah.
took the entire month of June off, the entire month of July off. That
Mhm,
was my full rehab process. And then the month of August, I came back, but I was only trading in the same.
mhm,
I need to build that confidence back because I was very ready to quit. I was like, you know what? You are going to trade in the same and you are going to prove yourself that you are disciplined enough to take one trade a day, one grain, and you out. Jump
mhm,
on the trade.
mhm.
So I did one trade a day challenge for the entire month to build my confidence back and then go back on track. But that was the moment where I was very close to
Yeah,
quitting.
to
And that was
quitting,
painful,
yeah.
very painful. And
Wow.
the most difficult thing was around me, nobody believes in trading. Trades. My own brothers don't believe in trading. They think it's a scam. So not having people around you that you could actually talk about the loss makes it even harder because I cannot go to a normal person doing like a 9 to 5, say, hey, yo, I lost 32 grand. They will think I'm stupid, right? They will
Mhm,
never understand it. They will never, ever.
mhm,
And
mhm.
not really having people to talk about trading made it more difficult. So my question to you was, do you have a community of people that you rely on when it's emotionally hard? Or how do people around you react to have that community trade?
Yeah, absolutely. I think community is everything in this space, right? Not only are they there to help console you on those rough days, right? But they're also there to help celebrate you along the way and give you tips and if, did you hear about this company? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Right? And so community is like literally everything. Do I have one? Absolutely. So I have several actually. One of them is my inner circle, which are my coaching students that I coach within my 6 month program.
Okay,
And they are like family, right? We're in there talking pretty much every day. Every day I drop information into the group about
okay,
what's happening with the market, strategies, things to think about. So that community is amazing. But then also I have stocks and sorors. I'm a member of Divine Nine organization. So I started a community and we have about 8,000 women that are part of it that are all interested in learning how to navigate the stock market, not in just trading sense, but also long term as well. That's another space that I really love and enjoy as well.
okay, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. If you have links to those organizations or those groups, I'm gonna have them in the description so people could maybe reach out
Okay.
and check them out.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
So that those two, and then I also have an options accelerator group as well.
Look,
That's where I teach options and that's another community too. So it's everything. It's
okay.
everything.
Yeah, sounds good.
Hmm.
And do you have any tools that you use or any sort of scanners or how do you find stocks to trade? And do you have any sort of like criteria on how you select those?
Yeah, sure. I am. So I've come a long way since I started trading. I used to be like all over the place, right? And I had like companies that, watch list about 30 companies that I would scan through every single week. However, now I am so much more disciplined, like so much more disciplined. So I'm not one that's like over here, okay, let me find this company, let me scan for this, let me scan for that. I'm more of I'm sticking with what I know and sticking with the strategy that I use that makes me money on a consistent basis. So what I do is I trade the SPY primarily. And I use the SPY to trade a strategy called vertical credit spreads, where I'm a seller and a buyer at the same time and literally it works like a charm. Um, so I don't really use a lot of scanners and things now. I used to. I used to use which one's TD Ameritrade. I would use their scans and things like that to help me, but now not so much.
When I got started, I was waking up every morning and I was picking my stock off of Yahoo Finance.
Oh yes, yeah, the biggest gainers and the losers. Yeah,
I had no idea what I was
yeah,
doing. I was
right.
on Yahoo Finance and and the chart looks ugly. I would just click on those stickers and then I would read the chart. I didn't know what I was doing, and then that's how I lost my 1800 in the beginning before
Mhm.
I joined the community and I
Yeah.
found my mentor, and that was a game changer.
Mhm. Yes, yes. It is. Having a coach, a mentor is like that's the shortcut. That's the cheat code for real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad
Mhm.
always told me the fastest way to learn anything in life, for him, it has two ways. It's either you put yourself to school to learn it, or you find somebody to learn from. And
Yep.
school for me, it's never an option. So I always go the route of finding
Mhm.
someone to learn from, and it's
Yep.
much easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you
Yes.
do you have any favorite setup that you like trading every day?
So since I'm looking at vertical credit spreads, one of the things that I do is I make sure that my strike price is going to have several layers of either buyers or sellers between myself and the current market price. So that's my setup. I probably should name it because I have a whole strategy that I teach my students.
Okay.
But yeah, so essentially I'm looking for strong levels in between the two
Mhm.
points. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
and how is it easy for you to manage trading for yourself and teaching other people, mentoring students to be successful?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. I'm gonna be honest because I'm very much let me see, how can I say it? I'm very accessible. That's probably the best word to say to my
Yeah.
students. So they're in there asking me questions. I may have a student that reaches out, I'm trying to help them to make sure everything's good. So I would say a lot of times my dedication is to helping them be
Mhm.
successful. But I do trade like literally every week. One fortunate thing about it is that my trading window is only from 1:30, 2 o'clock to around 3:55 is when I'll get out of my trade. So I'm focused. So as long as nothing's going on major between that time frame, I'm not helping nobody, not working on something else, that's when I'm in the market.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't trade the morning session?
I don't unless I'm looking at something different from my vertical credit spreads, but the strategy that I've mastered is that I'm looking at just that time frame.
Okay.
I'm waiting for a picture of the market to be painted on a spy, and then I'm determining my levels from there.
Okay.
Mm.
That's actually very important to point it out because many people in the trading community, even people with experience, some of them they still think you have to sit on your computer looking at the market all day
Mm-mm.
long.
No,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
all day long.
Like, not at all. Like, all the stuff that's going on right now, I'm not even worried about. I'm like, okay, cool. Just go ahead and paint this picture for me, and then I'll know when the 1 o'clock hits. I can start looking at it. Okay, where are your levels? And
Okay.
then that's where I determine, like, okay, this is where I'm going to put my strike.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. So do you journal your trade to find? So how did you go about finding out that you need to focus on the afternoon session?
You said, how did I figure that out?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good question. How did I figure that out? It was probably just over time, just trying different things. And that is what stuck. And so I just figured like I started making like ridiculous amounts of money, like thousands of dollars in a trade, and I'm only like in a trade for 2 hours. Like where can you do that at? So that for me, it just over time kind of developed into the strategy that I found that I really like. It doesn't require for me to be posted on the computer every day. So I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah,
Mhm.
for me it was about when I actually took that training rehab, I had to also find out, okay, what am I doing good and what am I doing actually wrong. So journaling my trade. So every trade that I take, I use TradeView. I would log my trade into TradeView for me to review later on.
Yeah.
So what I figured was I do the most amount of money between 6 a.m. Pacific time to 7 a.m. Pacific time.
Hmm.
Before 6 a.m., most of the time I was putting myself in the red before 6. Then I would
Hmm.
spend the next hour trying to dig myself out of the hole. And
Hmm.
at 7 a.m., I'll be green, and after 7 I'll give it all back and go back to red. So
Hmm.
I started to focus more into that time frame and also a specific price point. I don't touch any stock above $20 and I don't touch any stock below $2. So focusing into
Okay.
those two things, like from 6 to 7 and then
Hmm.
start from 2 to 20, that's my bad and bread, and it works perfectly fine, no stress, green or red. I know that was my plan, and I'm always happy with it.
That's good. I'm happy you found that strategy. That's good. And so you're looking at lower price companies because earlier you said small caps, right?
Yes, primarily I trade low price stocks. So
Okay.
the reason why I do well between $2 and $20 is because below $2 I don't like the price action. It's too slow. I don't have the patience to sit and wait, right?
Listen, yes.
So
Mhm.
they just move too slow. But also when a stock is priced that low, the hot level are also closer to it, like very close to the price point. So usually
Mhm.
they would get hunted every 15 to 20% up. So if a stock is at $1, you're only looking at 10 to 20 cents. And
Mhm.
I don't want to get in and get hunted all the time. But
Mhm.
between $2 and $20, they move a little bit faster. I can
Mhm.
get 15, 20. All I'm looking for every single day is 20 cents. And I know I
Mhm.
can get 20 cents from the market. And
Mhm.
the fast I can get it, it's when the stock is moving fast enough for me to get it in and out. And above $20 is just too expensive for me. Too expensive, they move faster both ways. So
Mhm.
you could have a 15 to 60 cents spike up, or you can have a 50 to 60 cents deep down, like
Mhm.
in less than a second. But sometimes you have no way to react to that because of these idiot
Mhm.
sellers. So I
Mhm.
just try to stay away from those price actions above 20 and the slowest price action below $2.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do you look at the average true range on that too? How much they move a day?
Yes. So for me to actually trade a stock, I have five criteria of my stock selection. So number one, they have to be between those price point that I mentioned, two to $20. And number two, they
Mhm.
have to be up at least 10% in that day. So when I wake up in the morning, I want to see
Mhm.
those stocks to be up at least 10%. Number three,
Okay.
I need 5 times relative volume. So basically, the average volume that stock has been trading for the past few months. Today, I need to see at least 5 times that volume. And then
Gotcha.
number four, I need to see my float to be less than 10 million. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Got you. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
the lower the float, the better it is because it's supply and demand. So yeah,
Got you.
it just help my stocks to move that fast because I just need 20 cents a day. So once I have those things aligned, I know my odds of getting 20 cents is much higher. I will still be red sometimes. It's not like if I have all these things aligned, I'm gonna be green all the time. My accuracy is only 60%, so which means I lose 40% of the time. My
Okay.
mentor, who's already up 1.2 this year, his
Mhm.
accuracy is only 68%. So he loses almost 32% of the time. So
Okay.
we
Okay.
still lose money, but the way we make a difference is my profit to loss ratio is 2 to 1. So I make 2 times that I lose. So every time I lose, it's if I'm making $1,000, I'm only losing 500.
Yeah. Good. That's good. Okay. Okay. All right. I love that. I love that. Again, I'm just super excited and just over the moon to hear you talk like strategy, right? And discipline and all the things because it's so many people who get into this space and are just like, yeah, I got a Robinhood account. Let me go ahead and do like so just to hear you talk through this, I'm like, yeah, he's serious about this. I love it. I
I,
love
yeah,
it.
I am still a student of the game, and
Mhm.
I love data. I am a data-driven person because I know
Mhm.
what you can actually count, you can measure. What you can see, you can measure. What you can actually
Mhm.
document, you can actually measure. I always like to improve. Um,
Mhm.
like every week, I have my study session with my buddy. We go on Zoom. I'm gonna review each trade. Each gonna review my trades, and then we are going to give each other comments on
Mhm.
what's working, and try to improve. And I am very very detailed into my metrics because I want to improve. I want to be making $1 million a month, and for me to get there, it's gonna take a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and
Love it.
I need to master my strategy. So
Yes.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm super proud of you.
Oh,
Keep
thank
going.
you. Yeah, you are doing really good building that community, teaching over 8,000 people. It's no joke. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So where could people actually find you if they wanna reach out to you? I'm not gonna have your information down below, but
Yeah.
where else could they find you?
Yep. So I'm pretty much on all social media channels. And if you are looking for me, you can search me by @invest the number 2, give.
Uh-huh.
And then you can also just search me by my name, Laquore Meadows. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I just started my YouTube channel, so super excited about that.
Okay.
And yeah, all over the place. Facebook. So
Okay, definitely. Yeah, before we wrap it up, what is the best advice you can give experienced traders and people that's getting started in a few words?
yeah. I would say the biggest thing, and this is going to be more of a technical thing, okay, is believe what you see and check again to make sure what you actually see is what you see. All right. Because there's so many opportunities for us to fill up biases in the market. But as you're inside of trading, inside of the thick of things, if you see a thing, believe it.
Okay.
Okay, believe it. That
Nice.
would be my advice.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for jumping on board and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience. I know a lot of people are going to be taking notes and learning from this episode. And for all the people watching, thank you for joining us. And we are going to see you on the next episode.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.